My name is Rachel Story, and I live in Manhattan Beach. I'm working with an organization called Frontiers, and our passion is to glorify God and to plant churches among Muslim peoples where there is no church. The way I began serving God was I first understood that God loved me. When I understood that He had perfect love for me no matter what I did, then I had the capacity to love others and have a desire to work and to serve them. What that looked like is I grew up in a church, and so I thought to myself, if I'm going to follow Jesus, how can I get involved in people's lives? So there's all these opportunities at church, and when I was young, my mom would help serve in the nursery, so I would help her out, and I'd go in there and play with little babies, and didn't feel like I was doing much, but I just enjoyed the time in there. And then as I got a little older, I thought, okay, maybe I could work with the 2- and 3-year-olds, and I started to help out a teacher. And then I would kind of take over, maybe teach a little lesson, and I enjoyed the flannel graphs and just interacting with the kids, and it was just really basic. But that kind of gave me the courage to kind of think what else I could get involved with. So when I was in high school, I knew I enjoyed working with kids, and there was a group called Sold Out, and one of the opportunities we had to serve was at a group home. And so we all came together and we got to plan maybe a game time lesson, almost like what a youth group would be. So we really came together, we're talking, and they said, hey Rachel, why don't you do the lesson? I was like, are you kidding me? There's no way I can do this. I'm a high school student too, and what do I really have to share? And all these fears started welling up in me. But I just got up there and I started just to share, read a Bible verse, and then started to share how God touched my heart through this verse and through these words. And as I was sharing, I could tell that the kids were really listening and they were responding, and that God was actually touching their hearts through what I was saying. And this just encouraged my heart and ignited a passion in me for the Word of God and sharing it. And I realized that it was very simple, but God gave me the courage and the strength to get through it, and I saw how it impacted their lives, and that just gave me enough faith to think, I might want to do this again. And when I was in one of my classes at Biola, a professor of ours came forward and said, hey, it's the month of Ramadan, we're going to be spending some time praying for Muslims. If any of you are interested, you can come in my office and pray with me during this 40 days. So I thought, hey, that's something I can do. I don't know a lot about Muslims. So I went to his office and I gave up lunches for the next 40 days, and we met together. There was a small group of us, sometimes just me and my professor, sometimes a group of 4 or 5. Just through this time of prayer, God really started to birth in me a desire or a heart, I guess you would say, for Muslim people. Whereas I never knew any before, I didn't have any names, but now I was reading some names and seeing faces and getting specifics. And in that prayer time, God really started to open up this door that, Rachel, here's a need where nothing's being done, and you're praying for me to send out more workers. Will you go? Could it be you? And it was me dealing with that question of just the call that Jesus gives all of His followers of, will you follow me?